Actual red light. Defending.
I think it's like.
David Raya has the edge over Aaron Ramsdale in battle to be Arsenal's goalkeeper. What does history tell us when two goalkeepers compete for a number one shirt? In that, unless it's made abundantly clear that someone is the number one and number two, these sort of things can't persist. While I'm happy to have two very good keepers in David Raya and Aaron Ramsdale, Arteta at some point is going to have to cross that bridge, whether it's making clear to Ramsdale or David Raya that you're the number two, and obviously you can get game time. So we've been here before. We've been here with Leno and Ramsdale. We've been here with Leno and Martinez. We've been here with Cech and Leno. We've seen it at Chelsea with Cech and Courtois. We've seen it actually at Paris Saint-Germain with Navas and Donnarumma. We've seen it plenty of time, people. Let me pause this, in fact. Having been given the nod in the North London derby, David Raya's status as Arsenal's new number one appears to have been confirmed. I agree, but I don't think David Raya was poor, but, I don't think anyone's an undisputed, better yet, number one goalkeeper at Arsenal. It's true, David Raya was the first choice Arteta tried to bring. Obviously, maybe it was Matt Turner leaving. At the time, David Raya making clear he doesn't wish to continue at Brentford. Maybe the opportunity to bring his fellow countrymen and second time now transfer target was too good to turn down. The real winners are Arsenal. With the greatest of respect, I have sympathy for players that don't play, especially someone of the character of Ramsdale and the quality of Ramsdale. Same is extended to David Raya. But I only care about Arsenal Football Club. If David Raya has to be the number one or Ramsdale's the number one, and they both make each other better, indirectly making us better as a collective, that's great for the fans. It is what it is. I've dreamed for times like this. Arteta has suggested he could even opt to change goalkeepers during the game and will make a decision on a game-by-game basis. Okay, that's great. I just want to specifically know about Aaron Ramsdale. We know we've been here several times, people. We've seen it at several clubs. Again, I'm trying to skip to where this makes sense. We've seen it with Ospina and Szczesny, really. Unfortunately, I never really rated Ospina. I think he's one of the worst goalkeepers we've had at the club alongside Almunia. So it is what it is. What a poor article that was. But allegedly, and as expected, with Aaron Ramsdale not getting game time, with his aspirations to be number one for club and country, allegedly clubs are queuing up to sign Aaron Ramsdale. Obviously, if people need a goalie and you see a quality keeper and Ramsdale struggling to get game time, we'll have to see. Apparently, Football Insider revealed on the 22nd of September that Aaron Ramsdale is not willing to be the second choice keeper for Mikel Arteta. As you know, David Raya has played the last 3 games. Remains to be seen at this moment in making the vid if he plays against Brentford. It's believed Ramsdale is not even contemplating a move away from the Emirates at this time. Instead, the 25-year-old is fully focused on regaining the number one role from on loan Raya. Fair enough. And obviously, he's been capped 4 times for England. It's believed several clubs are queuing up to sign the ex-Bournemouth star, and I'm sure he would love to play at the weekend if he chooses to leave Mikel Arteta's side in the near future. Fair enough, really, but again, doesn't shed any limelight on such. Now, Arsenal apparently continuing their search for a striker, and if you've been watching the Eredivisie, Santiago Gimenez, the Mexican forward, I don't know him religiously. I need to do my research, but he hit a hat-trick against Ajax, I'm sure, and he started off the campaign in blistering fashion. And we all know we've been linked with quote-unquote household names in Premier League football, like Ollie Watkins, Dominic Calvert-Lewin. Probably more want to see us sign Ivan Toney. We have been linked with Vlahovic and Osimhen and Ferguson. And we might have to find alternative strikers that can break out into that bracket, or lesser known entities and things like that. A bit like Manchester United to a degree with the former Atalanta man Højlund. So we'll have to see. Arsenal scout Feyenoord striker Santiago Gimenez as potential Ivan Toney alternative. Mikel Arteta is keen to add a new striker to his squad in January's transfer window in order to help his side push for the Premier League title. Brentford's Ivan Toney is on Arsenal's shortlist, and reports this week have claimed that the Gunners are prepared to submit an offer in the January window. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts and everything. The Times reports that Jimenez is also on Arsenal's radar, and the club scouting team are keeping tabs on the Mexican international's progress at Feyenoord. However, the report also claims that Arsenal must offload players in order to meet FFP regulations if they are to sign either Toney or Jimenez in January. Reports from Mexico in the summer had claimed that Feyenoord were demanding a 50 million euro fee, in brackets 43.5 million, for Jimenez. He joined last year from Dutch He joined the Dutch club last year from Cruz Azul and has scored 31 goals in 52 appearances for the Eredivisie side. He was also linked with Manchester United and Brighton over the course of the summer. He's played 20 times for Mexico, bagging 4 times, people. And it's not just Arsenal, Chelsea, and Tottenham scouting the same Mexican 22-year-old international. He has 19 goals in 25 Eredivisie games, so he's a firecracker in front of goal, and he's been blistering good form. Obviously, the commonality between the three teams is a bit different, but you can make a case to help Arsenal get to that level, the next level. Chance creation is one thing, but maybe bringing in another striker. Spurs have not replaced Harry Kane in terms of like Chelsea. It looks like they need a 9. That's the common denominator for all three London clubs. And obviously, at 22 years of age, he fits what we're doing, innit, people? Apparently, despite his limited time on the pitch, Jimenez continued to catch the eye. 90-minute understands that the scouts from Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal used the opportunity to continue their scouting of the 22-year-old striker, and they will have undoubtedly been impressed with what they say. Again, people, he scored twice and got an assist, people, against Ajax. It's been a poor season for Ajax. We've obviously seen Mislintat caught up in some dodgy dealings and lost his job on the football field. Ajax are struggling. 90-minute reported of Tottenham's emerging interest in Jimenez back in May, while Chelsea have added the Mexican international to their list of potential January targets alongside Brentford's Ivan Toney. While Jimenez's electric form has caught plenty of eyes in England, West Ham tried to sign him during the summer as well. There's also plenty of interest in the striker from mainland Europe. Apparently, reps from Benfica, Dortmund, Inter Milan, Juventus, Milan, and I assume AC Milan and Napoli are understood to have been in attendance, with Jimenez among the players under close observation. So he's drawing a lot of scouts, people, to the games, really. So we'll have to see. He is contracted until 2027, so it could make it difficult to obtain him anytime soon. He's got his third goal in a total of 71 hours and 16 minutes after his first, people. Which is crazy, really. I don't know what that stat is. Again, against Ajax, he had 32 touches, won 9 duels, 1 possession 5 times, had 4 shots, 3 take-ons, 3 chances created, and 3 goals and 1 assist. Like I said, I don't know this individual dramatically. Obviously, there's a shortage of strikers, and I do feel clubs are going to have to kind of bet on these kind of not unproven talent, but unproven talent, really. As much as the goals, the thing that attracts me is obviously he's only created 3 chances, but he's created chances, he's taken shots, he's won possession. These are things that you see in a striker in Mikel Arteta's system beyond what a striker is obviously required to do, people. In his last 5 Eredivisie games, he has 9 goals and 2 assists, people. So he handed 11 goals in 5 games. Wonder if that form can continue, but the 22-year-old Mexican international seems to be half decent. The Times have said Arsenal are likely to have to pay up to 80 million for Ivan Toney as they assess their attacking options in the January transfer market. Arsenal once again have scouted 22-year-old Feyenoord striker Santiago Gimenez, people. Scouts from Chelsea and Arsenal watched him over the weekend. We've gone over that, people. Smash the like button and let me know your thoughts. Once again, so far in this calendar year, 19 goals in 25 games. Obviously, he's going to flag up on the radar of anyone that wants a striker, but I don't know him religiously, but what does he do when he isn't scoring? What's the type of goals he's scoring? What's the type of finishes he's scoring? What does his heat map look like? And I guess you never know, but at 22, 23 years of age, is this a purple patch? Or is this now you're here to stay and you're going to consistently do this? This is what I mean by betting on the player. So I'd imagine scouting doesn't necessarily mean any of these clubs are imminently making a move. It just could mean he's on a list of targets. They want to run the rule over him. Scouts from all these clubs mentioned could scout him like and dislike things and consider he's not for them, or maybe he needs another year. I don't know, because at 22, 23 years of age, you very much doubt he's the finished article. Victor Osimhen, who's going through a lot of stuff at Napoli at the moment, smash the like button and let me know your thoughts so far. Victor Osimhen alerts Premier League clubs over transfers. Remarkable Napoli route escalates. As you know, unfortunately, he's the victim of racism on Napoli's own social media account. His contract is also running down, and his agent has threatened legal action. And it's quite sad for someone that got 20 odd goals, helping Napoli to get their first Scudetto in 30 odd years. He's contracted until 2025. So you'd imagine next summer is a pivotal summer if Osimhen doesn't sign a new deal, because they'll have to let him go. As you know, Napoli are notoriously difficult negotiators. And I'm sure, they spent a lot of money on this individual from Lyon. I'm sure they're not going to want to let him go lightly, people. So we'll have to see. But you can imagine, because of the whole aftermath after the game where he was subbed and missed a penalty in the draw against Bologna, and the subsequent aftermath, you can see articles being written about how his days in Italy could be numbered, people, essentially. But it doesn't really say much here. He's got 3 goals to his name so far this season, and he bagged 31 times last year, so that is quite decent. Apparently, the Napoli president is actually under investigation for false accounting after reports the Italian inflated capital gains while signing Osimhen for 74 million in 2020. So I'm sure they're going to want to recruit that. In an ideal world, I'm sure they would recruit that. You would imagine Leo had a handsome sell-on clause in that contract when they sold him. Same way they probably got one for Rafa Leao. I'm sure they've got one for Gabriel. I'm sure they aspired to have one over Nicolas Pepe, but it didn't quite work out at Arsenal Football Club, did it? So we'll have to see. Apparently, he's got a £150 million asking price. I don't quite think they're going to get that, but you never know. And apparently, the club fear furious £150 million striker will be sold in 2024 with Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man United all keen on signing him. Again, a lot of this is in general with his contract situation and his talent and the fact of it's a pivotal summer for Napoli if they're able to convince him before then to sign a new deal, or if they still try to take the risk beyond the market and convince him to stay, or at some point they might have to bite the bullet and let the individual leave. And, you know, to be fair, it does feel like you've hit a glass ceiling at Napoli. I'm sure you're somewhat adored by fans. You've created history. You're comfortable in the country. And I'm sure he wants to try a new experience, essentially, people. And he'll have a whole list of clubs probably queuing up for the individual. If you go back to last year, people, apparently we held talks with his agent at London Coley, people, when we was more trying to get Jesus. So I wonder if we still have his contact number. We'll have to see in that regards. Once again, Chelsea and Arsenal allegedly are prepared to also offer players in a potential deal for Ivan Toney. Eddie Nketiah has been linked with a swap deal, and it remains to be seen if Brentford would actually accept players in a part exchange, really. As I said, Mislintat is under investigation by his former club Ajax for some dodgy dealings. I'll let you lot do your reading. Once again, people, Arsenal scouted the 22-year-old Feyenoord striker Santiago Gimenez, but a move for either forward, I think that's in relation to Ivan Toney, would require Arsenal to sell players before the end of June to ensure they stay within the FFP limits, people. And apparently Arsenal are likely, once again, the follow-up team are likely to have to pay up to 80 million for Ivan Toney, who's got 18 months left on his deal, a new agent, and allegedly, according to reports, has made clear to Brentford that he wants to keep it moving. I've gone over this before, so check out my previous vids, but there was also rumours Edu has held discussions with Ollie Watkins, so it seems like we're consistently being linked with strikers. Mikel Arteta on the striker debate, which, as much as I think it's a striker debate, I think we have a chance conversion rate, which obviously goes down to players being clinical, much less the strikers, as shown in the North London derby between Eddie Nketiah and Jesus. But I don't think we create enough. So I think we could sign a star striker, but I think the numbers and what I'm seeing, we need to create more chances, or we're going to have a tool and not know how to get the best out of them. But for what it's worth, Arteta said there's various ways to score goals, and we are scoring goals. However, despite reports said, but we should have scored many more goals with the chances we have created. We have really good players up front. It's true that right now we have some injuries. We'll continue with the players we had, people. He then spoke on traditional strikers coming back. He said it's coming back. There are a few players. When you look at Harry Kane, Haaland, Toney, Mitrovic, you have examples of players who score goals, people. And as you know, Thomas Frank has spoken about it and basically said he can go for the right price. But this is a follow-up. He said, we are prepared for transfer windows ahead. We are prepared in any position if something should happen. Let's see. I don't want to sell him. I want my best players. I say don't sell him. Ivan is a world-class player, so why should we sell a world-class player? I want him to play here for the rest of his contract, but that's not up to me to decide. So we'll have to see. And Arsenal scored 11 Premier League goals Arsenal scored 11 Premier League goals compared to an expected goals total of 11.38 this season. So we'll have to see exactly what them things there are saying. Once again, we've gone over that. What's the last one here? Once again, allegedly we'll have to pay up 8 to 80 million for Ivan Toney, which I like. Ivan Toney, you know, I like his mentality. I like how he plays. I like the versatility in his playing style. I like the Premier League proven. He's making inroads in the England national team. I do think he carries himself with a positive chip on his shoulder, but 80 million, you might as well slap a couple extra million on top of that and try and dream chase for the Vlahovics, the Osimhens, people of that. Or to be fair, you might as well go for this Jimenez, or people that are not better yet, lesser known entities, really. I mean, it's not my money. If we paid 80 million for a 27-year-old and he helps us in his own way, you know, go from a team that got 80 odd goals to 100, and we turn some defeats into draws, some draws into 3 points. That's more points on the board. That gets us closer to Manchester City, really and truly. And I do think Ivan Toney would be a level raiser in that he would come in and increase the flooring, you know, because if he was behind Jesus in the pecking order, for example, he's way better than Eddie Nketiah, with the greatest of respect to Eddie Nketiah. But at the same time, does Ivan Toney push us up that level to that higher ceiling? I don't know. Do you go for Ivan Toney, who could be available, quote unquote, at discount, depending on what you read? Do you wait until the summer and go for a Ferguson from Brighton, where you know you need 100 odd million to begin a conversation? Osimhen's got his contract stuff, but as we've seen, 150 million asking price, which will drop really. You know, again, they paid 70 odd. I'm sure they're going to want 100 odd million quid. Which player gets us closer to City? Which striker significantly impacts us from the off? Because someone like Ferguson, as great as he is, and I would take the Brighton lad, and I think he's going to have a good future. Is he ready right now to deliver week in, week out at the expectations of a big club? With the respect to Brighton, I'm having him. I'm definitely having him, but it's just some food for thought. So yeah, people, let me know your thoughts on everything we've discussed throughout this video. Smash the like button. Don't forget to subscribe. At the time of making this video, it's a couple of hours before Brentford ironically play against Arsenal. So I hope to see you join me for a watch along. Comment, like, subscribe, turn on your notifications, check out the rest of the content. Most importantly, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm out.
He always used that active red light, defending.
I think it's like